Broadcasting live from atop the Rocky Mountains, the crossroads of the West. You are listening to the Liberty RoundTable Radio Talk Show.
The Good Sheriff has a new book coming out, The Democrat Murder of America. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. We also have the House and Senate talking about FISA 702. Are they going to sell us down the river? Not to mention the Donald Trump and his beautiful wife trashing Jimmy Kimmel. The battle's on. What'll happen? We'll keep an eye on that ball. Supreme Court examines geofencing. They pretend it was nothing when 2,000 Mules came out. Now they quadruple down and admit it's more than you thought it was. Oh, yeah, by the way, Chip Roy, representative from Texas, he's in the news as well, and we've got it all right here. Liberty Roundtable Live starts now. I'm Sam Bushman, libertyroundtable.com. We're everywhere, man. YouTube, Rumble, X, Truth Social. I'm just telling you, video, radio, long form, short form, spread the word, articles. It's getting better every day. Sheriff, welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Sam. It's great to be with you this beautiful Tuesday morning.
All right, let's talk about your book just for a quick second. We'll continue to highlight it. It's about to come out. Are you taking pre-orders yet?
No, we're not. I think by the time we're ready to take pre-orders, we'll have the ebook ready. And I was talking to Kelly about that last night. I said, hey, I really want to have this. But he goes, well, you guys keep adding things. And so, yeah, my co-author wanted to add what Virginia did to cheat on the gerrymandering to remove, I think, 5 spots in the United States Congress that will now be by Democrats. So they'll have a 10-1 advantage there. So now DeSantis is striking back. And, of course, the Democrats are screaming bloody murder, that it's unconstitutional to gerrymander how DeSantis wants to. You have to do it like California and Virginia. You take it to the people because this is a democracy. And so the lies and the subterfuge continue. And then we also wanted to add the other or the newest, the latest assassination attempt on President Trump, which is absolutely unprecedented. The third assassination attempt in 2.5 years. So we're going to add that, and then we're going to try to get this thing out. If the Democrats will stop doing crap, we can finish this first edition of the book.
Demagoguery in the first degree, ladies and gentlemen. I have to agree, though, with your co-author, Daniel Perkins, on this thing, though. I mean, he's right. You got to get that stuff in there because every time we think their demagoguery is out of control or everything, we think that it's so over the top. How can you believe this? They just take it to a new level, Sheriff.
They do. Probably Hakeem Jeffries is the worst one. And he was saying how afterwards his comments about how we've got to stop the rhetoric and we've got to come together and no violence. In a civil society such as ours, you can't have violence like it. No political violence. Well, maybe the other violence is what they want, not political. His rhetoric and Nancy Pelosi's and obviously a few others has been absolutely astonishingly outrageous.
Maxine Waters over the years, yes.
Oh, good grief, yeah. She's such a wacko. And
Omar.
And then, of course, the Democrats say, well, you guys did it too. The Republicans do it too. So, that's really the immaturity level. And this is why, Sam, this Congress has a polling approval of 9.5%.
They got to get that 0.5% in there.
Who likes them? Who likes any of them? Sam, I'm going to tell you right now.
I've told 2 or 3 that I have some respect for. Chip Roy's one of them. I like Mike Lee quite a bit, even though he's not perfect. I used to like Ben Sass quite a bit. Now I know he's not there and he's dying from cancer and he's got some wise words for us and our prayers are for peace for him and all that kind of stuff. I really like Thomas Massey. I liked Ron Paul. I like Rand Paul. I mean, there's a few people there that I like, but it's not even 10%, Sheriff.
No, it's not. Get rid of all of them. But the thing of it is, if we got rid of all of them and replaced them right now, Sam, would they be any more constitutional?
No.
Would they be good people?
No. They might be good people.
We
Yes,
don't elect
hold
good
on.
people.
They would for a start, though, because usually when they get there, they're a lot better than when they're there for a while, though.
Yeah, that's
Right?
true. Yeah,
So
true.
just by the very nature of, and that's kind of why I say we should every 2 years just dump all of the House.
Yeah.
Maybe let somebody go 4 years. I don't think we should mandate term limits. I just think we, the people, need to do it. Senators there for 4 terms and stuff is absolutely insane. But the new book is going to be coming out, folks. Keep an eye on the ball, CSPOA.org. And I'm just telling you right now, it's going to be a barn burner. I'm reading it right now. And man, it's really, in my opinion, brings some historical context to the table. It brings a reality of the historical reality of the Democratic Party and who they are and what they've done. And that's really kind of the takeaway, what they've done to the American people and to our society. It is demagoguery in the first degree, the Democrat murder of America. And I'm telling you, there's many Republicans guilty of this too. I mean, there's a lot of them. Let me give you an example. The House and Senate now are set to decide on the controversial warrantless, let me say that again, warrantless FISA Section 702 renewal. Okay? And this is disaster. I don't know why on earth so many Republicans would go for this, but the only way they could get it across the finish line is if Republicans go for it. Now, Donald was against it because it was used against him to attack. Now Donald's all for it, Sheriff. And this is where Trump wants me to be loyal, but I cannot just flip-flop like that. It's wrong. It's against the Constitution. It needs to stop. And Donald, buddy, come back to the table, my friend. You have friends here that don't want to see spying on the American people and don't want to see spying on you, sir. Sheriff?
Yeah, and I agree with that. And sometimes he gets caught up in the emotion of what he's dealing with at the time, and doesn't really examine it. Do we want Democrats later on to be able to do this? And that's really where he needs to look. I appreciated his response, his measured and professional response after the attempted assassination again. And they, after all of this is being exposed, or at least what they've exposed so far, this guy could have been really, really successful in his attempt if he'd had the timing a little bit earlier, when people are just moving in. I agree.
But
I think
you know what, Sheriff? I don't understand how 3 times in a row you can have the president so unsecure that this could get so close to happen in the first place. It baffles me on that. And I agree, Trump was cool as a cucumber. He's like, hey, this is a dangerous job. And I wasn't all upset. And, I appreciate his calm under fire, and that's good. But I just don't understand what on earth is happening to the security. I mean, I got to commend them because he's not dead, right? At the same time, I go, how does this keep happening, though? At some point, will somebody be on alert somewhere? What the heck?
Well, you could take it all the way back to where the guy started from, even Sam, because
Right
getting
back
on a
where
train.
we started from.
Yeah,
Right?
but yeah, getting on a train and you can go all the way across the country with carrying bombs, carrying knives, carrying guns, and I don't know if he had bombs, but it could have been a bomb, anything.
Sure.
There's no
Sure.
security
It
out
could
of
have been a lot of
train.
things. And I don't understand that at all, though. I just
I know.
don't. Now,
Yeah.
even if you just say we're going to run everybody's suitcases through a general whatever, and the problem is I don't really like government security, so I'd personally like a lot of third party security at the table and all that kind of stuff. But
Yep.
you're right; it's like, what is up with these things? I just don't understand how that guy even charged that. They say really only one guy shot back after he already got hurt. Nobody killed this guy. I mean, I don't quite understand it, Sheriff. You roll in there with 2 guns and no one even shoots at you.
Yeah.
What the
Well,
heck?
the video looks like 2 or 3 Secret Service officers drew down on him, and I said, "Why didn't they fire?" So I believe that there were other agents and officers in the line of fire when
Okay,
that guy
maybe
went through. It
that's
doesn't
true.
show. It doesn't show it, but I think they are, because I
Well, and
waited.
in that case, they get defense for their valor in holding fire and not making matters worse. And they saved the president and other, high officials' lives. That's all good. But I compared this, Sheriff, and I want to get your take on this. I compared this to George Washington. George Washington was president. He decided he was done. They wanted him to stay and run another term. He said, no, I'm done. I've already been here 2 terms. He literally quit, was not the president anymore, was an average citizen. He literally walks out of a White House all by himself, walks down the street. There's people lining the streets. They're waving at him. They're just so proud of their leader and president and kindness and this and that. And there were thousands of them, and he just basically walked off, went to Mount Vernon as a citizen. Compare that to today. When we get back, I want to talk about this with you. I want to get your take. Why is it so different now? You're watching Liberty Roundtable Live.
As the United States boldly stepped forward in the glorious light provided by its new Constitution in 1787, the nations of the earth were in awe of the newfound strength and hope of this free land. Today, the nation stands at a crossroads. A divergence from the original intent put forth in the United States Constitution has brought grave threats to our beloved nation. A miracle is needed if the United States is to survive. That miracle is again the pure application of the United States Constitution. I'm Scott Bradley. In my To Preserve the Nation book and lecture series, I bring forth truths that will help raise up a new generation of statesmen like those noble Americans who founded this land. Vigorous application of these principles will invigorate and restore the nation, and we may become again the freest, most prosperous, most respected, and happiest nation on earth. Visit topreservethenation.com to begin that restoration.
Are you watching what's happening in our country and asking, what can I do? Join the John Birch Society in Salt Lake City, June 6th, for a powerful one-day conference. The day includes a host of respected speakers, 2 meals, and meaningful connections. You'll gain clarity on the issues and walk away with practical steps you can take to your community. Reserve your seat today at jbs.org/SLC26. That's jbs.org/SLC26.
All right, so Sheriff Mack is with me, ladies and gentlemen, CSPOA.org. You want to basically become part of the CSPOA posse today, folks. That's how we get funding to train elected officials all across the country and help the American people back their constitutional representatives and primarily sheriffs. CSPOA.org. Become a member today. And by the way, you can check out the weekly webinars, Q&A. You can get involved and ask questions and make comments, and Sheriff will watch and listen and pay attention to every one of them. CSPOA.org. So Sheriff Mack, I was kind of saying, look, George Washington just walked out of the White House all by himself, just kind of average citizen after he was president, walked down the sidewalk. Everybody was lining the sidewalks and just had their hats in their hands and were reverent and appreciative and waved to him. And, hey, President, thank you for your service, buddy. And now you got to keep everybody so far away from him, it's not even funny. What on earth has changed? You can't tell me it's high-powered guns. The society has changed.
Yeah, it has, Sam, and I think it's the result of political hate that the two parties have been pushing. And Sam, you know darn well that the Democrats are worse than the Republicans, and the worst Republicans are really Democrats, and so I do blame the Democrats the most. What Nancy Pelosi has said and done has been so her entire 30, 50 years in Congress. She's a liar, and she's a purveyor of hate. Look, has the Democrat Party, this is something we bring up in our book, has the Democrat Party promoted violence?
Without question. And you document 66 ways from Sunday. The answer is yes, yes, and triple yes.
But it's not only have they promoted violence, Sam, they have celebrated violence. They celebrated, many of them celebrated when Charlie Kirk was killed. Many of them celebrated, Sam. And so I really believe that what Washington said in his farewell address about the two-party system, that it would end up ruining our country. because they are more loyal and adhere more to political dogma and agendas than they do to decency. And in the book, we put a statement. The only thing the Democrat Party has achieved is a new level of degeneracy. And I really believe that this is part of it. Are there some Republicans culpable of this? Absolutely. And many of the worst Republicans are simply people dressed like Republicans, but they're really Democrats. And so that happens.
I sadly have to agree. That's the problem. I have to agree with you on this. Now, the Southern Poverty Law Center has been accused of bankrolling hate, ladies and gentlemen. Justice Department indicts SPLC on charges of funding extremist activities. They're really funding people like the KKK and all this kind of stuff. It's insane. The DOJ has charged the SPLC with 11 counts, including wire fraud and money laundering, alleging that the nonprofit funneled millions to agents within extremist groups. Now, I don't really understand that, but that's what they've done, ladies and gentlemen. They've been caught in sexual perversion scandals as well. People have had to leave over that. I mean, these people have a sordid history that's beyond imagination. Now, they've attacked people like me and Sheriff Richard Mack relentlessly as well, saying that I'm somehow a hater. Now, Sheriff Mack and I both have a $10,000. Maybe we ought to increase it to 25, Sheriff.
Sure.
$25,000 if you can tie Sam Bushman and or Sheriff Richard Mack to any violence. Now, what they might say is, well, Sam, you've been talking violence. Everything you say is violent. Because, again, this term political violence, Sheriff, I don't even know what that means. What is political violence different from non-political violence? Can you explain that to me?
That's what I was alluding to a minute ago. Yeah. What difference does it make what kind it is?
Well, it's the political kind. So does that mean right-wing violence or left-wing? What does the political kind mean?
Yeah.
Does it mean that I don't like Donald's hair, so I'm violent?
Yeah.
I mean, my hair is better than Donald's. Come on.
I don't know.
I'm just saying, see, is that political violence?
But Sam, the point is well taken. And you and I were talking about this off the air, and we've talked about it a lot. That we discovered, first of all, Sam, I could not believe why they kept lying about you and me, accusing us of the most crazy things.
Most things that are just unhinged, not even true.
But it's not even close, Sam. There's nothing even remotely close to what they're calling you and me.
I was kind of thinking of inviting the SPLC members to attend church with me, by the way.
But then when I saw the kind of money they bring in, Sam, they have to, in order to keep their donors
on game.
First of all, fear is the big thing. Democrats are great at it, and fear is the big thing that motivates people to donate. And so, you're good. Trump is the biggest danger to our democracy. Well, first of all, if we were a democracy, that who cares?
By the way, your book doubles down on that deceptive point too.
Yeah. So Sam, I don't know if I shared this with you. I think I did, but I know I did, and I know we talked about it. This is the thing: you and I discovered that they had to be doing this. And that they had to lie and keep lying about good people, Judge Napolitano, Ron Paul, people who are absolutely as peaceful and pacifist as you and I, that have never promoted violence, never even suggested it, don't even spew anger and hate very often at all, probably never, but close to never. But yes, you and I tell the truth about SPLC and IRHR and ADL and all these other groups that are liars. And so they had to do it, Sam, for the exact MO that they got indicted for. They have to lie about us so that they can get bigger donations. And they're even willing to donate millions to right-wing groups. They didn't donate to you. They didn't donate to me, but they did it to big ones. And I think they knew that we would tell on them if they did. But
Well,
Sam,
first off, if they offered to give me the money, I wouldn't take it. First of all,
well, of course not.
I wouldn't take money from the Southern Poverty Law Center. I wouldn't take money from abortion groups or any of those kind of clowns either.
No, of course not. But at the same time, why didn't they try us? They've gone after us for so long. And so maybe they knew that would be a big mistake. I don't know, but I do know this. They have lied about you and me. They have slandered and defamed you and me so that they could bring in more money. They scared their supporters.
They've got hundreds of millions of dollars in offshore accounts too. My question to them about that would be why? I don't have any money offshore.
They want to hide it from the IRS.
Yeah. So maybe the IRS needs to go after the Southern Poverty Law Center. For starters, maybe the IREHR, maybe Rolling Stone, all these clowns that attack. And then they got to really dig into and force people on the stand about this to basically say, hey, who are your partners in crime? You know, who's doing the bidding? Who kind of participates in your gang Democrat, dishonest mentality? So you and I were asked by a buddy of ours to write up some kind of prose about what's going on and our take on it. My headline for it says this: they called us dangerous. Now look at them.
Yeah.
The SPLC empire of accusation is finally facing the accountability that has long denied everybody else. Think about that. They're finally facing the accountability. They haven't, really let everybody else. Okay. For decades, the Southern Poverty Law Center has cast itself as America's moral authority on hatred and extremism. That authority is collapsing under the weight of its own record. Now, here's the interesting thing, Sheriff. How did they get so ingrained and so, quote, credible? And so, you had the FBI trusting them. You had the state's attorney generals trusting them. You had law enforcement up and down the line backing them. Whatever they said was basically gospel and everything else. All right, their most dangerous weapon has been this hate map that they got everybody on, right? That's when I first got on their list in the 90s. They said, Sam Bushman at Liberty News Radio, he's the biggest hate group in the state of Utah. And I'm like, it's just Sam and his teeny corporation trying to make a living. It's not big. There's nobody there except for me. Okay? I don't understand it, but that's what they did, and that's how kind of my war with them over the last 30 years has begun. They literally just said, I'm the biggest hate group. But then later, they helped put us on the congressional record. Me and James Edwards, they called us the Nexus. Think about that word. The Nexus of hate and anti-government in America.
And they didn't even include me on that one, so yeah.
Nope. Then they attacked you and lied about you, and because we were taking video, we caught them in their lies, Sheriff.
Well, yeah, and they said that. You and I were talking about the word. I think they accused me of saying we need sheriffs to take out. They used the word.
Oh yeah.
Take out IRS agents, and I actually said arrest, which is
there's a little bit of a difference between taking out and arrest there.
And so after they found that, then they wrote a retraction, and you called them and told them, why don't we debate about all of this? And
I said, why don't you come and let me talk to all your attorneys? And at first they agreed, right? At first they said, sure, we'll do that, because that was part of the demand for the retraction. And then they refused when they found out what I was going to talk to them about, right?
Yeah.
Their most dangerous weapon is the hate map, ladies and gentlemen. I'll debate all the SPLC attorneys any day of the week, by the way. Bring it. Let's go.
Right.
Okay, I know this personally, ladies and gentlemen. They have attacked us relentlessly. This isn't a political disagreement, folks. This is a reckoning for these people. Okay? The same standards that they've used to weaponize against us needs to be applied to them. We need full investigation, full transparency, prosecution when the evidence demands it. The rule of law has no exceptions, not even for the Southern Poverty Law Center. Hang tight, ladies and gentlemen. God save the Republic of the United States of America.